these I have two topics to take, that is hypothesis and one another is formulation of hypothesis. Before moving to formulation of hypothesis, let us discuss what is hypothesis. So hypothesis is, which means a mere assumption or supposition which are to be proved or disproved. This hypothesis is tentative proposition formulated for empirical testing. But for researchers, hypothesis is a normal question that he needs to resolve, because one person has to if a person who is a researcher, he must prove whether his propositions or whether his hypothesis is a truth or a false. So to a researcher, it is a problem to be solved. So, hypothesis as a definition, we say that it's a testable tentative or provisional generalization based on the previous knowledge, and it forms the basis of reasoning. To be more precise and specific, it is a deduction based on the series of facts from the existence of an object or the cause of the relation of phenomena that can be inferred without an actual proof. This doesn't contain an actual proof actually. So we must have to say that this might be nearest to whatever we are going to prove. Okay, the corresponding judgment which is given by me or the researcher will be or the conclusion or the judgment will be a hypothetical one. So there are so many adequate explanation for the related fact. The first one is channels scientific inquiries in the right direction, paving the way for experiments and observation, and helping the collection of evidences. This helps in the collection of so many evidences actually. So second one is what helps in the selection of appropriate methods for testing and verification. So these there are so many. First one offers adequate explanation of related facts, also helps in formulation of laws and explaining the facts, help in drawing conclusion to expand the horizon of knowledge. There are so many condition of features for a good or valid hypothesis. So we have to provide a valid hypothesis or a good hypothesis. There are so many conditions for that. The first condition, that hypothesis become a valid or viable when it has following conditions. What are the condition? We can look into what are the condition actually. First one, hypothesis must be empirically tested. That hypothesis must be empirically tested or the variable, so that it be ultimately accepted or rejected or revised. These may be called as falsibility, falsifiability. So it must always provide answer to the problems of inquiry. It must be simple with high predictability. So we must have the capacity to predict that. So this must this condition must include what, a high predictability also. So it must comply with observed and established fact and previous knowledge. It must explain largest possible numbers of facts. So we need so many facts related this. We do maybe one or two facts are not adequate. So we must provide so many facts which is related to the research paper or hypothesis which we are putting forward. So it must be straightforward, definite, and unambiguous. So ambiguous means it might be straightforward, doesn't it does not be long as we cannot understand it. So short and straight answers provide the exact nearest approach for proving a hypothesis actually. So its explanation must be true for existing state of knowledge. Okay, whatever knowledge we are giving in our paper, that must have a correct explanation with true explanation, whether this hypothesis is a truth or that is a false. We must provide what, a true or the existing state of knowledge must be provided. There are two major group of hypotheses, crude and defined. That crude and defined are the two major groups of hypothesis. We shall look at into what is crude hypothesis, and we can look into forward what is refined hypothesis. Crude hypothesis only indicate a kind of data to be collected. It does not lead to the formulation of theories. From this we can understand that it does not lead to the formulation of theories, but it indicate a kind of data that is collected. It indicate only the data which we have or we collected. It does not lead to what that formulated theories and all. On other hand, a refined hypothesis leads to the formulation theories. So how this happened or how the theory was formed, these all really coming under what? Refined hypothesis. Refined hypotheses are three kinds: simple, ideal, and complex. Simple hypothesis is a one which does not involve much testing or verification. Simple is always simple. It does not indicate what? It does not contain any testing or verification there. And ideal hypothesis is one which examines the cause and relation of natural phenomena. So the complex hypothesis is concerned with the relation of multiple variables also. So these are crude and refined hypothesis. Refined hypothesis has three kinds, which is simple, ideal, and complex. Now we are moving into what is null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is a hypothesis nullified by negative evidences for testing. Its main objective is to avoid personal bias of the investigator in collecting data. It is put forward on the belief that it might be true and could be used in collecting data. So, null hypothesis is widely used in sampling theories. We know that these null hypothesis we can use in sampling theories only. So that exact collection of these data may be given in a sample section. We can use the null hypothesis. Then what? Formulation. This is the next very major topic, that how formulation of hypothesis happen. What is the basis of formulation hypothesis, or what is a formulation of hypothesis? Formulation of hypothesis presupposes some problems which demand specific scientific investigation. There is no problem, no inquiry is needed, and no hypothesis is required. This means that a hypothesis is formulated for solving a problem or explaining a phenomena. These hypothesis is used for what? Solving one problem only. So for explaining that phenomena also. And we know that isn't required for how this happens. These always tell how these problems are solving, or how to explain what is the phenomena related with whatever paper or whatever thesis we are putting forward. So, formulation of a hypothesis gives the direction in which the relevant facts are to be arranged. There is no hard first rule for formulation of hypothesis. Actually, these are known as formulation hypothesis. Thank you.